Dr. Kemi Lawrence, this is part 5 of Persecuted IJ. In the last chapter, I told you about when I got the bail. The first time I went to court, I didn't get bail. The second time, the magistrate was sick, I didn't get bail. They served me the third time with some kind of document that says I'm also going to federal court. That's when I found out I was in 2 courts. Why did Pastor Ibiomi sue me in federal and magistrate court? What was the essence of that? When I look forward now to see, and I look back, I think about it. The person that was prosecuting me, Kennedy Okoko, the late billionaire, which I didn't know at the time, and the lawyers were just trying to give me a hard time. This is somebody that came to me and asked me for forgiveness at the end and confessed that he tried to assassinate me twice. This was very hard for me because I really wanted to call all of them out until he came and begged me, because he knows I have a lot of power. Kennedy died in 2020 in a botched liposuction with a doctor whose license has been revoked from the U.S., state of Texas, Benedict Olushola. And who took him there? His side chick, Kukushir. At the end of the day, everybody that did evil to me found evil in the end. The Attorney General of Rivers State, Aguma Chinwe, who said in documents that this woman is not a journalist. She is not a blogger. She is just a woman who hates men of God. Now, how would you describe me that way? You're an attorney, and you just literally dragged my degrees and everything. I'm not a journalist. Even blogging, that's a hobby. I'm not a blogger. I just hate men of God. During the court phase, I stretched out my hands like this, and you know what this means in Yoruba. Koni dafuen. It no go better for you. 3 people are going to die in this case for lying on me. I actually said that in the courtroom. At the end of the case, 3 people actually died. I had no hand in their deaths, but they were mysterious deaths. Aguma Chinwe died in his sleep in London, UK. He went to a bar association event in UK and didn't get up the next morning to go to the event. They had to go to his hotel to find out why. He was found dead. No foul play. Died in his sleep. There was a prison guard who was always on the Black Maria that followed us to court. It wasn't Nathan, not the one you saw with me in the second picture. I'll show you the prison guard. Robert went to court one day and he left the courthouse and went home with an ailment, some kind of headache, and then they came the next day and told all the inmates that he passed away in his sleep and he had a hemorrhage. He did say he had a headache, but they said he had a brain hemorrhage and died in his sleep. Kennedy Okoko died in a botched liposuction after I left prison. The 3 people will die in this case that I mentioned was a spiritual thing, and I don't know how. I just said it because I felt at that time in my life that people had taken everything I had, including my integrity and dignity. They had lied to me to the core, and they thought they could get away with it. I don't have to fight. That was the time I discovered I don't have to fight people. God fights for me. What happened to Robert? I don't know. They said he had a hemorrhage and died. But this guy was mentioned in court by the prosecutors. One of the prosecutors actually said to the judge that I was enticing my fans on social media to go protest and do bad things because Ibiomi locked me up. How did I entice my fan? The prosecutor said I was using the phone of one of the prison guards, and that was Robert. I don't use anyone's phone. I've never asked a prison guard for a phone. Why would they make it up? Why would Robert allow his name to be put in that kind of stuff? Anyway, I just thought everybody was against me. So when I not heard he died, everybody just died somehow. I figured God was working for me. Because when you do bad things, God will recall you. I was tired. I was fed up. And I went through quite a lot. In this part 5, I'm going to tell you prison life. You never want to go to a maximum prison. You don't want to go to prison, period. For me, it was a big newsroom. When the prison had a medical outreach, and a billionaire in River State brought his foundation to the prison, I participated. The Lulu Briggs Foundation, and the one surviving son, Dumo Lulu Briggs, is well known in the Port Harcourt circles, and he was once a politician running for governor. Dumo's dad would bring an outreach to the prison with doctors, nurses, pharmacists everywhere, and the inmates would go there. In Port Harcourt prison, the female section was on one side, and the male section was on the other side, which was much bigger. Port Harcourt prison is the oldest prison in Africa. It is over 100 years old. The British built it. Even the asylums that they have inside the prison where the mad patients go was still there. And it's now where we actually cook our foods now. It became like a kitchen area, the hallway. The thought of the people that were inside those cells, it just irritated me. The food they gave us in prison was not food. They literally threw ingredients on our faces. If you've not watched the TVC interview I did, go watch it. Because everybody was cashing in on me at that time. They wanted to hear my story. I did an interview with Edmund Obilo as well. He kept bugging me for an interview. At one point I got tired. I didn't want to talk about it again. Because everybody seemed to be monetizing it. The only person that didn't monetize my prison stay was Daddy Freeze. I crashed into Free's show in 2019, 2020. Early 2020, maybe January, at Cool FM. I went to dinner in Victoria Island, so I decided my lawyer and I should go to Cool FM. I had dinner with my lawyer that evening and my son at Hard Rock Cafe. So we went to Cool FM. We crashed in. I'm the only one that can do that. And I started talking to Freeze in the mic, and I started talking about my prison. And before you know it, it was a full-blown interview. You can find that interview on Cool FM. The kind of things I experienced in the prison, seeing ghosts at night, ghosts of inmates that were buried in the prison grounds. There were inmates buried in the prison grounds, yeah. Some inmates became like very destitute. They became mad people. They were in the asylum, and then they ultimately died, and they were just buried on the prison grounds because their families did not claim them. People who had committed murders and atrocious things. You'll see a white apparition go by. Everybody will like, did you see that? At that side of the cell, everybody was like, did you see what passed? We all saw the ghosts. There was no light in the prison at night. We were locked up for a good 12 hours a day. We were locked up from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. The keys were taken to the front office by the wardresses. Port Harcourt prison female section was attacked by male inmates some years ago during the Soboma attack, and all the female wardresses were raped. Many inmates were also raped. Because of that incident, they changed the security system by locking us in and going to throw the key in the office. I'll tell you more. It was scary. It was very, very scary.